What's happening, guys? I just got done with a awesome run. I was running a little bit late tonight, so I was out in the cold, and man, it was freezing out there. Snow, ice, the whole works. Today's message is specifically on why wrestlers should go to wrestling camp. I'm going to talk a little bit about camps in general, the types of camps that are out there, and how you can select a camp for you this summer, and what's going to be a great option. And first thing I want you guys to know is, I can't honestly say in all my years of wrestling that, a camp has been the number one thing that has, allowed me to have this unbelievable technical ability. Now, that being said, I want to explain that when you go to wrestling camps in the summer, a lot of times that's exactly what is happening, okay? So you're going to this camp and you learn, 20, 30, 40, 50 different things throughout, a 3-day or 4-day camp. And quite honestly, it's hard to remember, and it's hard to, so you kind of try to pick a few things, and but then, all these things are going through your head. There's this move, and then there's this move, and do you remember this move? And, one of your coaches might have filmed all of it, but nonetheless, a lot of stuff that's shown at camp is kind of these high-level, we call them clinician techniques, okay? Clinician techniques, the stuff that me as a clinician, if I came in and showed you, you guys would all be excited, and therefore, as a clinician, I'd feel like I did my job. That tends to be what happens. When I get hired to come out to a camp to run, a clinic and be somebody's clinician, I really focus in on, very fundamental things, 1, 2, 3 things, and really drill home and get those things going over and over and over and over and over. Even though they're technique, I would rather spend more time in that position focusing on that one piece of technique, than showing 10 different techniques. I think some of the best technicians out there do this really well when they're running camp. So that being said, that's a technique camp. So you really have to think about that. Like if you're going into a technique camp, you really have to have an open mind. And, if a lot of stuff's been thrown at you, you got to select things. You got to know what you want and what you don't want, and really kind of dial it in. Like leave camp guaranteeing that you pick something up and you're going to get 1% better, from going to that camp. So that's something to think about. The next thing, you got dual camps. Okay, dual camps are happening all over the country. Some big colleges throw on, high school dual camps. In reality, dual camps are a big, money generating service essentially. So these are the things that keep Olympic level athletes training and scholarships and all sorts of different things is being used with this money when colleges are running this camp. There's high schools running dual camps as well, and they're taking that money and they're putting it into their fundraising account, and really it's a quick, huge fundraiser for these organizations that are running it. So, if you're a coach and you're thinking about it, that's a great option. What is it doing for the kids is the question, and most likely, most of the time, these dual camps, you're getting 20, 30, 40 matches in. So a dual camp is a great option because you're going to get tons of live match experience. Now, that being said, I want to encourage you, when you guys go to those live wrestling camps, we're just getting tons of matches in those duels, you need to really make sure that after every single match, you're correcting something that maybe you did wrong, or maybe your coach says you're not doing too well, and then work on that one thing throughout the whole week so that you guarantee you get 1% better. Okay, so don't just go and get tons of live matches and not really identify anything technically that can allow you to get better. One of the things that's going to happen at a dual camp is you're going to gain some mental confidence. Maybe not so much mental toughness, but mental confidence from going through these matches, and you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, you might go on a little winning streak, and you're going to get a lot of takedowns, and so you're going to gain a lot of confidence, which is so big and so important. So once again, another type of camp that I highly encourage. Dual camps will make you better. A lot of times those are comboed with a little bit of technique or a guest clinician. So those are a great option to get a lot of matches in. And then you got this other type of camp. This is the camp that I actually run, and this is an intensive camp. I run a camp up in Washington. It's called the Washington Intensive, also known as Kaizen Intensive. Kaizen is something that stands for continual improvement. When you go to an intensive camp, you got the J-Rob intensive camps. You got what are some more? You probably Ohio State probably has one. Iowa has an intensive camp. Okay, you got the Oregon State one not too far away. Okay, there's all these camps that they're intensive camps, and during those camps, once again, it's really hard. There's going to be technique, there's going to be duels, there's going to be conditioning, there's going to be running, there's going to be strength, there's going to be live matches, there's going to be tournaments, you name it, they're throwing it at you, and it's going to challenge you to be really mentally tough in that week, but it's going to be hard to really capture, from a technical aspect, and really change something dramatically. So when you go to those camps, once again, you really have to zone in on what you're getting better at. At my camp, whenever I have clinicians showing stuff, I really have them focus on, really drilling home something so that you feel like that day you got better. And then we mix in, a few days here and there where we have some fun and we show you all sorts of technique. So that's what you're going to experience at an intensive camp. But what I want to really share with you about that intensive camp is you're going to transform your mind and your heart, which is ultimately going to transform your whole entire life. We focus on a 7-day, 6-night camp because we believe with our schedule and with our, talks at night and with all of our character messages built into every single practice and all of our tournaments and our duels and our tough workouts, with all of it combined and together and in this tough environment where you're like sleeping in almost barrack type atmosphere, we believe that you can literally change your life. In 7 days, 6 nights, you can transform your mind and decide not to be a boy, but to be a man. To be, setting yourself on a direction and on a path towards success. Okay, you're gonna go to such dark places when you're at these types of camps, specifically our camp, because it's so tough, challenging on your body and physically, that you eventually by day 2 or day 3, you just throw out the numbness of being sore. And you're really in a dark place. You're testing your body's ability, you're testing your mind's ability, testing your heart's ability. And those are the times when you really question a lot of things in your life and you start asking yourself, what do I stand for? What kind of person am I? You start reflecting on, how you treat your brother, how you treat your sister, how you treat your mom, how you treat your dad. And that's what is so special about our intensive camp. Our intensive camp specifically was modeled after the J-Rob intensive camp from a long time ago. Way back in the day, the J-Rob intensive camp ran by Jay Robinson, one of the best camps in the entire country, was servicing kids in this way. It was really changing their lives. My dad at the time went to the camp, and he had a guy win the black hat, and he had, they had kind of gone through the whole gauntlet of the camp, and J-Rob, he had a tough environment back then. I like to say he's changed a little bit, but back then you could get by with a lot more, and let's just say in some ways, I won't say it was degrading, but in some ways it had a little bit more of a negative atmosphere than it does now. And today it's a very positive and uplifting atmosphere focused around some high character messages. And that's what our camp ultimately, 25 years ago, we tried to create a crazy positive environment, because I think that positive environment is where you can have, you can really sit down and reflect and question things and ask yourself questions and begin to decide the man that you want to become. So if you're looking for a camp this summer, then you'll want to register, at the link down below, or Google Washington Intensive Wrestling Camp or Kaizen Intensive Camp. The website specifically is kicintensive.com, and we're hosting 2 or 3 camps this next summer. And every camp we try to keep between 150 and 200 kids, because it's important from a culture aspect to really hone in and dial in our week. My staff is phenomenal. They've been with me for actually 9 or 10 years now. I have about 9 different guys that have specifically been with me. They know how to run my schedule crazy smooth, and everything just operates and churns, and that train gets moving. And man, the camaraderie around camp is crazy, and kids are hooping and hollering, and shirts are in the air, and everybody's yelling, "We're all in," and "Yeah, buddy," and "intensive," and it's just all these chants are coming out. It's so awesome. I still, to this day, every year after camp, I get letters from parents, I get letters from coaches, I go back to the state tournaments and I see our Kaizen shirt, the one shirt comes off, and then underneath that shirt, the team shirt is their Kaizen shirt. And it actually gives me chills on my arms because I know what those guys went through. I've been wrestling 25 years now, and I've had a great career in the sport of wrestling, and now I'm really focused on helping people in the sport of wrestling. But during that career, I wrestled through high school, and was multiple-time Fargo All-American, runner-up once, and won the state title and did that whole deal, and went off into college wrestling, and I was over-recruited by some top-level guys, 4-time state champ, national champs. Our team at the time was number 2 in the country, and I broke through a lot of adversity there, and became ranked number 2 in the country in a very tough room, and started for the team for 4 years, and we won multiple Pac-10 and Pac-12 titles, and we went on to do a lot of really great things. Definitely, there's some things too that were unfinished. After that, I went on and coached in college wrestling. I coached at Arizona State for a year and came back. I ended up landing back in Boise, where I got the opportunity to coach at Boise State University. Shortly after they, dropped our program, that's when my whole dream and everything kind of had to shift. I had to shift my perspective, and I had to find a new way to help wrestlers, parents, and coaches. I've now done that with the All-In Journal and the All-In Wrestling System. Those are two products that can really transform your life and that you can have in hand without me being there. But if you want me in action, probably where I'm my best is when my wrestling shoes are on. Then you got to check out the wrestling camps. The Washington Intensive, Idaho Intensive, all under the umbrella of the Kaizen Intensive Wrestling Camps. Like I said, there'll be a link here, or there'll be a link somewhere. You guys can Google it. But if you're looking for a camp this summer, then you really don't need to look any further than an intensive camp. You're going to get everything that you need, from technique to duels to that intensive, life-changing transformation. I challenge you guys to go all in, to make that lifestyle choice, and to challenge yourself to pick the intensive camp. It's not an easy choice, and I know it's not for everyone, but if you're looking to get better, if you're looking to actually give yourself a shot at standing on top of the podium at the end of the year, then this is the camp for you. I still, to this day, have kids reaching out to me individually, telling me, after they became a Navy SEAL, or after they became a Ranger, or they're telling me about, intensive camp being one of the toughest and best experiences of their lives. And it helped them get through other challenging times in their lives. That's why we designed it. We designed it to help you shape your life in the direction that you want to go. And so if you're interested in something like that, not just stand on top of the podium with a medal around your chest, but living a lifestyle of a champion, then you got to check out the intensive wrestling camps. They're really going to give you everything that you need in the summer. And so if you're looking for elite level training, that's a great option. Pair that up with your tournaments. Pair that up with your, off-season freestyle, no off-season actually, I should say, freestyle and Greco wrestling in Fargo, make a national team, get some more matches in. That's how you start setting yourself apart. But go ahead and kickstart that dream and that goal with going to the Washington Intensive or the Idaho Intensive wrestling camp. We're going to host 3 this summer, and that's your opportunity. Thanks for letting me guys, just rant on. I was just thinking about camps today as I was out on my run, and I got some work to do to make sure I'm all set up for this next summer. And shoot, we're just in wrestling season right now. It's December. But if you want to start planning ahead for the future, now's the time. So start checking it out. Make sure we're on your calendar, and you know where you're going this summer to get better. Take care, guys. All in. Levi Jones, all in.